From the tank on the campus of the College of Staten Island, CSI Sportsnet presents NCAA Division II women's basketball coverage. In tonight's East Coast Conference matchup, the College of Staten Island Dolphins take on the Firebirds of the University of the District of Columbia. Good evening, everybody. My name is Joe Foreman, alongside my broadcast partner, Nick Bavona. And Nick, we welcome our viewers in to the McDonald's pregame show, also being sponsored by our friends over at TLC Physical Therapy. Our great sponsors provided us a backdrop for the evening, continuing to level up our game here at CSI Sportsnet.
Absolutely, Joe. You said it best. Leveling up in a certain way. Let me take a quick sip, Joe. I'm a little thirsty today.
Love
because we have a spectacular game today between the Firebirds and the CSI Dolphins. Both teams coming off a loss in their last game, both looking to get back on track with a win today at the tank.
Both teams are 1-1 in the conference, and last time we saw this Dolphins team at home, it was against the Mercy College Mavericks. A very hard-fought back-and-forth game between the College of Staten Island and Mercy. The Dolphins came away with the victory.
Yeah, it was a huge win by CSI, and they really got a big spark off the bench from the player of the game, Gia Esposito, who had 14 points off the bench, was 3 of 7 from the three-point line. She provided a huge spark for CSI in that game. They really needed that in their last game against Stack. They're hoping that maybe she can provide that spark again today against the Firebirds.
The Dolphins are a bit shorthanded tonight. They will certainly need that offensive firepower from Gia Esposito this evening. Both teams come into tonight with just 8 players dressed for the game. Several players out for the Dolphins this evening, including Noemi Masinghe and Lizzie LaFaro. So for the Dolphins, they will certainly need Esposito's offense in a big way tonight. And in their last game against Stack on Saturday, they really struggled to put the ball in the basket.
Yeah, you said it, Joe. They really struggled from the field. Couldn't really get any shots going. Shot 32% from the field, 27% from the three-point line. Really not good shooting numbers from CSI. But the biggest number, Joe, in that game that I saw, CSI out-rebounded by 18 rebounds against Stack. Not a good number to see when you're facing a really good team like that. They're facing a Firebird team that has 2 really good rebounders in Destiny Riles and Latavia Jackson, who both average over 8 rebounds a game. So really going to be a tough matchup for CSI going into this one. Can they get big-time rebounds when they need it the most against the Firebirds?
And not only are Riles and Jackson the leading rebounders for the Firebirds, they are also the team's 2 leading scorers. And one player that will be tasked with slowing them down tonight is Jenalise Alarcon. Alarcon remains the Dolphins' leading scorer. She's also CSI's leading rebounder. She also leads the team in several other categories, including assists, blocks, and steals. The Dolphins will not only need offense from Jenalise tonight, they will also certainly need her defense.
Absolutely, Joe. I mean, especially with the injuries that they currently have, only 8 players today for the Dolphins, they really need someone like Alarcon to step it up the most and give CSI what would be a great win against a Firebird team that has been Stacked in the previous matchup before. CSI has beaten Mercy. This Firebird team lost to Mercy, so kind of an interesting match between these two teams to see who will come out on top today.
It certainly is when you take a look back at those common opponents. And speaking of the Dolphins' defense, they have allowed opponents to shoot only 36% from the floor this year and 31% from three-point range. On the other side of things, the Dolphins are shooting about 40% from the field and a very efficient 36% from downtown. Those numbers something that certainly play into the Dolphins' favor heading into tonight's matchup against the Firebirds. CSI will certainly need to shoot it well this evening.
Absolutely, and they're going to need to get off to a hot start. And that last game against Stack, 14 points in the first quarter. They allowed 27 against Stack. So they really got off to a flat start, and it realistically was a big reason why they fell down early and could not get back into that game. If CSI is going to win today, they need to start off the game really hot, and they need to crash the boards against a really good rebounding team in D.C.
And speaking of that game against Stack, Ashley Lambert was the Dolphins' leading scorer in that game. She had 17 points, shot 7 of 16 from the field, but only 3 of 11 from downtown. You mentioned the Dolphins didn't shoot it all too well against the Spartans on Saturday, shy of 33% from the field and just above 27% from three-point range. But the Dolphins will certainly need Lambert to be better than the 3 of 11 shooting performance from beyond the arc that she had on Saturday. A very uncharacteristic performance. We can look for her to bounce back tonight.
Absolutely. I mean, realistically, for that entire Dolphins team this past Saturday, kind of an uncharacteristic game. They got off really slow, couldn't really shoot the ball to start off the game, kind of got back into a rhythm in the second half, but by then it was already too little too late. They had gotten down by over 20 points, so it really was not a chance for the Dolphins to get back into that one. That's why they need to come out starting off really hot early on if they're going to have a chance. Biggest stat that I saw from D.C. against the game against Mercy, they had 18 turnovers in that game. If CSI is going to have a chance today, they're going to need to force some big-time turnovers and get a lot of big key rebounds against a very good Firebird rebounding team.
And the Dolphins only turned the ball I should say the Dolphins had 8 steals in Saturday's game. They had 17 points off of turnovers. As for the Spartans, they had just 15 points off of turnovers. So the Dolphins on Saturday did a good job of capitalizing on the opponent's turnovers. Unfortunately, the poor shooting made that point moot. In the game for the Dolphins, Lambert was 3 of 11 from downtown, as I mentioned. Noemi Masinghe was held to 3 of 14 from the field, and Gia Esposito was held to 3 of 10. Also, CSI's leading scorer, Jenelise Alarcon, attempted only 6 shots. You can bet she'll attempt more than that here tonight.
Yeah, they're going to need her more than ever. But with a person like Latavia Jackson, who is averaging almost 19 points a game, 8.6 rebounds per game, it's going to be a tough matchup down the paint for Jenelise Alarcon. She's going to need a bigger game more than ever. You said Masinghe in that last game with his Dolphins' second leading scorer. She is not playing tonight, Joe. So that is a big loss for CSI. Lizzie LaFaro is also out for CSI. Another big blow to their offense. They need someone like Alarcon or maybe someone else in the starting 5 or off the bench to provide a huge spark today.
Well, you mentioned Jackson, one of the leading scorers for the University of the District of Columbia. She has been incredibly efficient this year, shooting nearly 50% from the floor as a team. The Firebirds shooting around 42% on the season. They have held opponents sub 40% shooting, so something has to give tonight. This Firebirds defense has done a nice job limiting the shooting of the opposition. They've also allowed opponents to shoot only 30% from three-point range. They've only shot 28% themselves, so we'll see which holds true tonight. Will the Dolphins be able to maintain their shooting mark, or can the Firebirds host CSI to sub 40% shooting and slow down this Dolphins offense?
Yeah, absolutely, Joe. I mean, and another key factor for CSI is going to be stopping Destiny Riles, who's also having a really good season for the Firebirds. She's averaging just a little bit over 18 points a game, 5.4 rebounds, and is the team's leading assist with 4.1 assists per game. So she provides a huge spark for CSI, for the Firebirds. So for CSI, they're going to want to stop her today and Jackson. Those are the two key factors for CSI today. You stop those two big players, CSI could come out on top today with a big win.
And we mentioned the shooting of Jackson. How about the shooting of Riles? She's up around 44% on the season. Not a bad number there. Also shooting 33% from beyond the arc while averaging over 18 points. So don't sleep on Riles either. Another player who's very capable of scoring, as we mentioned, both she and Jackson, the two leading scorers for the Firebirds, who, as we mentioned, also have only 8 players tonight. Ayanna Ellis not active for tonight's game. Only 8 players for each of these two teams. Conditioning will certainly be paramount this evening.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be a big factor also in this game. How will the conditioning of these two teams play a factor with both teams only having 8 players per squad? It's going to be really, deciding on who is going to step up in that moment. You're going to have to rely on the 3 bench players realistically a lot more than you usually would to come off the bench and eventually, provide that spark. You saw that in the last game for CSI against Mercy with Gia Esposito. Can they do that today and have the same spark? We'll have to find out.
And we are just a few minutes away from the playing of the national anthem and the introduction of starting lineup. So Nick and I will step aside. We're going to hydrate just a bit and take a quick break. We thank you for tuning in to the McDonald's pregame show, also presented by our friends over at TLC Physical Therapy. They've provided our great backdrop. They will sponsor our post-game conversations with the head coaches of the CSI men's and women's basketball teams. You'll also get a chance to check out our Dolphin Pod interview with CSI women's basketball head coach Nicole Sarcone ahead of the men's game. That is coming up after this matchup between the College of Staten Island and the University of the District of Columbia. Thanks for tuning in to the McDonald's pregame show. Nick and I will take a quick break, and we'll be right back with the start of tonight's game between CSI and UDC.
Champions know how to seize opportunities. When they see moments of greatness unfold right before their eyes, they push as hard as they possibly can, and then they push harder. Because the heart of a champion...
Oh, Lou. So at the end of
The Kettle Black on Staten Island, a top 5 wing joint in America by Food and Wine magazine. Serving daily lunch and dinner at the bar or on the floor. Perfect for family and group parties with top shelf drink and delicious food. From great times with good friends. Live sports and watch parties. To Staten Island's hottest nightlife. The Kettle Black features live music and DJs weekly. The Kettle Black features daily and nightly food and drink specials. The best Staten Island has to offer is at the Kettle Black. We'll see you there at the Kettle Black, located on 415 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
Champions know how to seize opportunities. When they see moments of greatness unfold right before their eyes, they push as hard as they possibly can, and then they push harder. Because the heart of a champion never settles, never quits, and never stops giving its all. We are champions. We are Division II. We go big, we give it everything we've got, and we win. On the field, on our campuses, in our communities, for our causes, in our careers. We rise to become champions in everything we do. We are Division II, and there are no limits here. We make our time count. We set our own path. We become champions on our terms. It's time to up your game, because we're here to play and learn. But most importantly, we're here to discover ourselves, our vision, our heart, our drive, to achieve every goal we aim for, because we want to be champions at the highest level, life. At Division II, the opportunities are here. Are you ready?
And we are back from the tank. Joe Foreman rejoining you alongside Nick Bavona. And as the starting lineups are being introduced out on the floor, Nick, you have those starting lineups for both teams.
That I do, Joe. Well, let's get first for the Firebirds of the District of Columbia. Number 0, Kensley Benjamin. Number 1, Tori Williams. Number 3, Latavia Jackson. Number 22, Halia Ellis. And number 23, Chanel Haskins. For the CSI Dolphins, number 2, Ashley Lambert. Number 4, Kaya Johnson. Number 11, Kyra Rose. Number 13, Jenelise Alarcon. And number 15, Amaya Jenkins get the start for CSI as they look to get a big win today.
Dolphins looking for their second win in conference play. The Firebirds are looking for their second win in conference play. One of these teams improves to 2-1 against the ECC. The other falls to 1-2 tonight. Both of these teams looking for a big victory that could really shift the trajectory of their season early on. Big difference between 2-1 and 1-2.
Absolutely, Joe. Stats do matter in this scenario, and especially in the standings. A huge win for both of these teams would be great. Can CSI get that against the Firebirds? We're about to tip off and see what happens.
Dolphins also looking to defend their home floor. They picked up the win last Wednesday against Mercy College right here at the tank. As we await the opening tip, Alarcon will jump against Tori Williams for the Firebirds to get things underway from the College of Staten Island. This is the front half of an East Coast Conference doubleheader between the Dolphins and the Firebirds. As the opening tap goes to UDC, they will possess the ball first. Chanel Haskins will bring it up as she swings it over to Jackson. Jackson feed inside, and an early foul is called against the Dolphins just 10 seconds into this first quarter.
Yeah, Rose basically saying no easy bucket right there with that foul. Now we'll see Haskins on the inbound pass.
The inbound went up top to Williams as the Firebirds worked it quickly down into the corner. Jackson kick out. Fake on the shot there by Benjamin, and now with it on the right wing with 5 to shoot was Jackson. That shot attempted by Benjamin too long and rebounded by Kyra Rose.
Nice defensive stand from CSI. Let's see how they do on their first offensive possession of the game.
You said it. Amaya Jenkins getting the start tonight. Kyra Rose also getting the start tonight as Kaya Johnson went down to the floor. Johnson missed the Dolphins' last game at Stack over the weekend.
And with the injuries, Joe, that CSI has, they need her today to step up in the starting lineup in order to get the win.
Ball now down in the corner. They work it inside for Williams. And Williams throws it into the Dolphins' bench.
That's going to be big for CSI to stop Williams. In the last meeting between these two teams, Joe, she had 11 points and 8 rebounds. So she was a big factor in the District of Columbia getting the win last time these two teams met. So CSI needs to stop her today.
This is Jenkins on the outside. Calls Johnson up to the perimeter. She feeds it to Alarcon, who's quickly double-teamed. She finds Rose, and Rose can't finish. Offensive board to Rose, and she flings it out to the perimeter for Johnson. Johnson wanted Alarcon. That was tipped and out of bounds.
Kind of seeing a zone defense here, Joe, so far for the Firebirds. It looks like a 2-3 zone that they're playing. So CSI trying to get some points down in the paint. They've had 2 good, really looks, but have not been able to produce any points yet.
Inbound goes to Alarcon. 10 on the shot clock as Genelise was doubled again, but drew a foul. That will give the Dolphins 20 to shoot. Rose off the inbound, handed it off to Lambert, now Johnson. Jenkins finds Lambert. Lambert over to Alarcon, who looks to drive. Rose left wide open on the baseline, and Kyra Rose has the first points of the night.
Great play by Alarcon, too. Not only gets the pass, she was able to screen and give Rose a nice early and open look. CSI with the first points of the day.
UDC has it on the outside. Williams kick out once again. The Dolphins doing a good job keeping the Firebirds on the perimeter.
And they're kind of playing a 3-2 zone, Joe. So a good start for CSI defensively. Doing good switch-ups, but there's an easy look and a big-time miss for Tori Williams. So CSI early on has been playing some good defense. Got a nice big break there with a 2-0 lead.
That was a nice job by Johnson to avoid picking up the foul as Lambert's left open. Splash.
You said it, Joe. Lambert was big in the CSI's last game. She led the team with 17 points. In that loss against Stack, she needs a big-time effort today.
Ball was loose underneath. The Dolphins take it. Outlet to Lambert, a bit too long.
That's a possession CSI would love to have back. 3-on-1. They are not able to capitalize a costly turnover early on.
Dolphins lead it 5-0. Just over 7 minutes to play in the opening quarter. We have a whistle.
Good defensive play by Jenkins to knock the ball out.
Possession will stay with the Firebirds here as we have our first substitution of the game.
Could be Destiny Riles coming in for Halia Ellis. So this is one of the big key factors for the Firebirds today. Riles was big their last time these two teams met. She's been big for DC all season.
Fake, and the ball was knocked away from Latavia Jackson. The Dolphins forced the early turnover. Johnson, pull-up jump shot. Splash.
Nice pull-up jump shot from Kaya Johnson. And CSI with an early 7-0 lead. And this is what we talked about, Joe, in the pregame. CSI need to get off to a nice early start, and they've done it on both sides of the ball.
Firebirds have really had trouble getting the ball inside as, once again, that's thrown straight into the Dolphins' bench by UDC. And that's yet another Firebirds turnover.
Yeah, if you're the Firebirds, not a great start in this one. Some really bad turnovers, a couple missed possessions for them. If you're CSI, this has been the start you really realistically could want for with a 7-0 lead and a chance to increase it right here.
Johnson finds Rose. Rose uses the Alarcon screen, and Jenkins came out of nowhere backdoor as Alarcon was rejected by Williams.
That was a stuff right there from Tori Williams. Great play by them.
As we have a foul underneath.
Joe knows what I was referring to on accident.
Dave hates WWE, so hopefully he's not watching.
Hopefully not. Dave, if you are, I apologize.
He won't know who that is anyway.
All right, fair enough.
Kaya Johnson picks up her first personal.
And remember, Joe, with 8 players for each side, foul trouble could be a big factor in this game.
Jackson to the line for UDC. First free throw is good, finally putting the Firebirds up on the board with 6:09 to play in the opening quarter. Good start defensively for the Dolphins. One more free throw coming for Jackson, and that rattles in.
Jackson leading the team in points. She's got the first 2 for the Firebirds. It's a 7-2 game.
This is Jenkins on the pull-up. Too strong. And the rebound goes to Riles. Firebirds push it up the floor quickly, but down to the floor goes Jackson.
The foul is going to be on Kyra Rose. CSI will have some substitutions. Jenkins and Rose are coming out. Phelan and Gia Esposito are coming in.
Some shooting entering the game off the Dolphins bench. They now have Lambert, Phelan, and Esposito all in the game together. That's a lot of three-point shooting.
Well, you got to think about it, Joe, as the shot right there is missed and rebounded by Lambert. With this many players for CSI, only 8, they're going to need to do a lot of substitutions because they can't afford to get into any foul trouble as this game goes on.
Good move by Johnson. Can't finish the layup. Off her own miss, she's fouled as the putback attempt nearly went down.
Very strong start for Kaya Johnson. Made the early jump shot in that one. Made a nice spin move, as you said. Almost gets to the end one. She'll have a trip here to the line for 2 free throws.
First free throw for Johnson is no good. One more from the line for the Dolphins sophomore. And she goes 1 of 2 from the stripe.
Kensley Benjamin checking out for the Firebirds, and Janiyah Smith is checking in.
Starters will play a lot of minutes for these two teams, inevitably. Barring foul trouble, can expect to see a lot of the starting 5 for each side. We're under 5.5 minutes to play in the first quarter. Jackson kicks it out into the corner. Now looking to drive is Smith, and she throws one up off the base of the backboard, and it will be Dolphins basketball.
CSI does a really good job on-ball defense. You saw it right there, forcing a really tough shot for Smith. She was not able to make it, and it went out of bounds. So CSI with a very strong defensive start in this game. No field goals so far for the Firebirds.
Alarcon doubled in the corner. That double quickly dispersed. Esposito, three-pointer. Splash.
Well, Joe, we saw it in that game against Mercy. Gia Esposito was really good from the three-point line. Made a nice dribble move. Got a nice look to make it 11-2.
Timeout, Firebirds.
And the Firebirds will call timeout, which will send us to a quick break. Our score, Staten Island 11 and UDC 2, as we are just beyond the midway point of the opening quarter.
Hobra, a taco joint, Staten Island, where we're proud to have shared our family-first spirit with people from throughout New York City and the world. With indoor dining available both at the bar and on the floor. Or step outside for additional seating and an outdoor bar. Serving beer that's crisp, ice cold, and worthy of a day at the beach. Cocktails that explode with flavor. And great food made with the freshest and healthiest ingredients available. Events feature food and drink specials. Live music. And the best of Staten Island nightlife. Your CSI Student ID saves you 10% on your dine-in order at Hobra. Visit us at 412 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
And we are back here at the tank here at the College of Staten Island. CSI with an early 11-2 lead. The drive by Destiny Riles goes in to make it 11-4 CSI. Joe Foreman currently at the statistician's desk as we are having an issue right now with our live stats. So I am currently on the call by myself. As here is Kaya Johnson to the lane, does not make the shot, rebounded by Latavia Jackson. Riles with the pass. The shot is missed by Jackson. Offensive rebound was by Williams. She gets rejected, and here comes Kaya Johnson with the ball. Up to Gia Esposito. Esposito will slow it down, and CSI will try to get some points here on this possession. Phelan with the dribble. Shot for the three. Missed, but the offensive rebound is by Esposito. She's got an open look for three. Just off the rim. Another offensive rebound for Alarcon. And we've got a jump ball. Ball will stay with CSI. Alicon a little bit shaken up on the play, and for CSI, not a good sign with the amount of players that they currently have. So, looks like we'll have a timeout right here to see the severity of the injury. Hopefully for Alicon, it is not a serious injury. As we said, folks, CSI coming into this game with 8 players. If Alicon was to come out of the game, they would have 7 remaining players for the game. So realistically, a big-time injury right here. CSI cannot afford to have something like this. You would hope Alicon is okay, as CSI has an 11-2 lead early on here in the first quarter. And a good sign to see Alicon is up on her feet, kind of walking gingerly, but at least she is able to walk on her own power. So a good sign for CSI. We'll see if she maybe checks back into the game later on. But for CSI, with one of your best players going out, realistically, you're going to need someone off the bench to step up more than ever. As Brianna Moore is going to check in for the Dolphins. So she'll have to fill in the role of Alicon now here on the inbound. Moore to Johnson. Johnson back to Moore. Moore with the post move off the glass and misses, rebounded by Tori Williams. Here comes Latavia Jackson. She gives it up to Destiny Riles. Riles now looking to call a play here. UDC only has 1 field goal so far in this first quarter, has really struggled to shoot. 3-point shot is missed. Offensive rebound from Smith. And another possession for UDC. Jackson on the drive. It goes in.
Latavia Jackson for 2.
Jackson now with 4 points for UDC. She is the team's leading scorer with 18.9 per game. You see it right there. She gets up a lot of shots for this Firebirds team as they now only trail by 5. Esposito to Phelan for 3. Just a little bit off the mark. And it's rebounded by Riles. Riles to Jackson. Jackson on the drive. No foul call. She gets an offensive rebound. But it was not held on properly from Williams, and it's a turnover forced by Lambert. Lambert up to Esposito. Esposito with a nice dribble move up to the baseline, and they're going to call her for a travel. So a turnover right there for CSI. And you can see in Destiny Riles, she was kind of hunched over. You can tell she is tired, but with the amount of players that UDC has, they're going to have to play a lot today. Here's Haskins back to Riles. And they're going to call a late foul on Dana Phelan. That's going to be her first. CSI now has 14 fouls, so 1 away from being in the bonus. Kaya Johnson's checked out. Jenkins checked in. Missed right there. Offensive rebound from Smith, and another opportunity for the Firebirds to potentially make this a 1-possession game. Riles on the dribble. Back to Jackson. Jackson from 3. It's off. Offensive rebound from Haskins. Another opportunity for the Firebirds. They've had a lot of offensive rebounds in this first quarter, but a great turnover forced from CSI. Ball is going to go out of bounds. They will stay with the Firebirds, so a big missed opportunity for CSI. Forced the turnover, but they could not handle it properly. So with 9 seconds to go on the shot clock, a chance for UDC to still make this a 1-possession game. As we're going to have a late substitution. Kensley Benjamin is going to check back in. Latavia Jackson is going to check out. 9 seconds to go on the shot clock. 1:55 to go in the first quarter. Here's the shot from Haskins. It is off, and it's rebounded by Gia Esposito. Score right now is not on your board, folks. It is currently 11-6 CSI. 1:40 to go in the first quarter. Esposito with the ball. Gives it up to Lambert. Lambert for 3. It is off the mark and out of bounds, going back to UDC. .137 to go. 11-6. Dolphins are on top. CSI one foul away from being in the bonus, so the Firebirds could potentially try to pounce on that and try to get some free throws to potentially make this a one-possession game. Haskins will bring it up. Haskins out to Riles. Riles back to Williams. Williams. And they're going to call a foul. Benjamin went up with the shot. That's going to put CSI now in the bonus. Foul was on Gia Esposito. That's going to be a shooting foul. 2 free throws coming up. As Lambert checks out, Kaya Johnson checks back in. You'll see a lot of that in this game. A lot of substitutions, especially from the starters. They're going to need a little bit of rest and have to check back in quickly and often. As the first free throw is missed by Benjamin. 1:26 to go, 11-6 CSI on top. Benjamin makes the second to make it an 11-7 game. 1:25 to go. Kaya Johnson to Jenkins. Jenkins to Phelan. Phelan now to Johnson. Johnson gets the screen from Jenkins. Now to Phelan. Phelan puts it up. Off the glass, it is no good and rebounded by Haskins. 1 minute to go in the first quarter. A 4-point game. There's Haskins on the drive. Rejected by Brianna Moore. Big time rejection from Moore. Here's Johnson on the drive. Pull-up jumper. Splash. Not the first time we've seen Kaya Johnson with a pull-up jumper. She makes it a 13-7 CSI lead with 40 seconds to go in the first quarter. Ball's tipped and stolen by Johnson. Another great turnover forced by CSI. Here's Gia Esposito. Nice move to the bucket. She hands it out to Phelan. Phelan with the fake. The shot is no good. And the ball goes out of bounds in favor of UDC with 17.2 to go in the first quarter. So for the Firebirds, it looks like they'll try to get off the last shot of this first quarter. Trailing 13-7, a three-pointer would make it a one-possession game. Here's Riles. Haskins now with the ball. Back to Riles. 6 on the clock. Riles puts up the shot. It misses. Offensive rebound from Williams. Williams puts it up at the buzzer, but it is no good. And that is the end of the first quarter here at the College of the Staten Island. The current score, the CSI Dolphins 13 and the UDC Firebirds 7, as we'll be right back from this commercial break.
The Kettle Black on Staten Island, a top 5 wing joint in America by Food and Wine magazine. Serving daily lunch and dinner at the bar or on the floor. Perfect for family and group parties with top shelf drink and delicious food. From great times with good friends. Live sports and watch parties. To Staten Island's hottest nightlife. The Kettle Black features live music and DJs weekly. The Kettle Black features daily and nightly food and drink specials. The best Staten Island has to offer is at the Kettle Black. We'll see you there at the Kettle Black, located on 415 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
And we are back here at the tank at the College of Staten Island. The current score, the CSI Dolphins 13 and the UDC Firebirds 7. Once again, I am Nicholas Pavona. I am currently solo right now as Joe Foreman is still at the statistician's desk. We are currently having an issue with our live stats system, so we will try to get that fixed for you folks. Currently, CSI has had some opportunities to increase their lead, have not been able to do that here in this first half. But with 10 minutes to go in the second quarter, let's see what happens as CSI tries to take the lead. Here's a three-point shot. It is off from Benjamin and rebounded by Kaya Johnson. Johnson has had herself a great first quarter. We're going to pick it up here in the second.
Gia
As Esposito makes the 2 right there. CSI now goes up 15-7. Defense is strong so far for the Dolphins. Here's Riles now on the dribble. Stolen away by Dana Phelan. Chance for CSI. Phelan right there. And she is going to just miss it. No foul call, and it's rebounded by Riles. Ball is still loose. We're going to have a jump ball. Ball will stay with UDC. 9:03 to go. 15-7. CSI is currently on top. And I am currently about to be rejoined by Joe Foreman.
Well, Nick, I really appreciate you doing double duty, working our live scoreboard and updating the score for me as I was across the way. Our live stats are not currently working, and I could not figure out why. So our live stats right now are currently down. Perhaps it's an issue on the NCAA side of things, but I'm happy to be back on this side of the gym as the Dolphins lead by 8 early in the second quarter. Nice feed by Jenkins, and Brianna Moore lays it in for 2.
Moore has made a nice impact, Joe, since coming into the game. She had a key block in the first quarter, and you said Jenkins with a great pass to feed her for 2 points to put the Dolphins up 10.
And we have a whistle as Dana Phelan picks up the foul.
That's going to be Phelan's second, so she'll have to check out. Lambert will check back in.
Quick trigger on that shot, off the heel, no good. That attempt by Janiyah Smith. This is Lambert with it, giving it up to Johnson. And another whistle for an offensive foul.
Foul's going to be on Brianna Moore.
And the Dolphins simply can't afford foul trouble in this game. We saw Jenelise Alarcon go down in that first quarter as well.
Now, the good thing is, Joe, she's currently on the bench, so a good sign to see for CSI. We'll have to see if she checks back in.
That shot too strong from beyond the arc and rebounded by the Dolphins.
It's been a rough start for the Firebirds early on in this game, have not been able to get their shots going down. CSI trying to take advantage and increase their lead.
Johnson for Moore. Moore catches it in deep. Left-handed hook rattles in.
Well, if you look, Joe, she's kind of got the mismatch down low. Moore has taken advantage of it so far. She now has 2 buckets here in the second quarter, and CSI has a 12-point lead.
Strong start to the second quarter for Brianna Moore. Getting a chance for some extended minutes today with the short rotation. Left open for 3 with Smith, and that's good. A big shot for the Firebirds.
You said, Joe, Firebirds needed that shot more than ever. They now make it a 9-point game with 7:27 to go in this first half.
Dolphins lead it 19-10. Jenkins looking for somewhere to go with it. Barely got that to Lambert. Johnson's open. Free throw line jumper is good.
Man, it has been nothing but net so far for Kaya Johnson in this first half.
Spin move on the baseline by Jackson, and she was fouled.
Now the question is that on Lambert or on Moore? I believe they called it on Lambert.
We don't have the official foul tally. You and I may have to get a pen and get to it. It is the team's third. We know that much.
Benjamin checked out. Toy Williams checks back in, so some size for the Firebirds as Jackson makes the first free throw.
Williams stands 6 feet tall. You have to think she'll be matching up with Brianna Moore here, as Moore has gone to work in the post through the first 3 minutes of this second quarter.
And with the injury to Alarcon, she's going to have to play more than ever in this first half.
Well, you said it, Nick. Right now, Jenelise still on the Dolphins bench. Appears available, but appearances can be deceiving.
Well, Joe, as you said that, she goes right to the scorers table, so it looks like she's going to check back in.
She is available, unless this is a big deke by the Dolphins bench. Esposito around the back finds Moore. Moore for Johnson, left open once again, and that rattles out. Offensive rebound to Moore, and she can't finish the layup. Players down to the floor. This ball is still loose, and Moore gets it over to Johnson.
Big chance for CSI now to take advantage of that turnover, if you want to say, Joe. 13 on the shot clock.
What an effort by Brianna Moore, who's given the Dolphins some good minutes. Nice feed inside to Jenkins. She couldn't handle it cleanly, and here come the Firebirds. Kick out into the left corner. Ellis buries the triple
And you see why, Joe. Destiny Riles leads the team in assists. That was a great open look. And Ellis knocks down the triple to make it a 6-point game.
That's good vision on that pass to set up the three. And just like that, we have a 6-point game. Esposito off the mark. And the rebound goes to Riles. Riles looks to attack, dumps it off inside. That's another great feed to set up the basket. Williams for two. Timeout, Dolphins.
Riles with some back-to-back great feeds. And because of that, she gets 5 points for the Firebirds. They now make this a 4-point game as we head into a timeout for CSI.
And with that, we will step aside for a quick break. Our score as we approach the midway point of the second quarter. Staten Island 21, UDC 17.
Hobra, a taco joint, Staten Island, where we're proud to have shared our family-first spirit with people from throughout New York City and the world. With indoor dining available both at the bar and on the floor. Or step outside for additional seating and an outdoor bar. Serving beer that's crisp, ice cold, and worthy of a day at the beach. Cocktails that explode with flavor. And great food made with the freshest and healthiest ingredients available. Events feature food and drink specials. Live music. And the best of Staten Island nightlife. Your CSI Student ID saves you 10% on your dine-in order at Hobra. Visit us at 412 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
And we are back from the tank. Joe Foreman rejoining you alongside Nick Bavona. The Dolphins' lead has been trimmed all the way down to 4 points. Dolphins recently led by 11.
We've seen it a couple times this year, Joe. Dolphins have had double-digit leads and have lost them, so they're hoping to not do that today.
A point I made earlier in the season is that often in the second half, the Dolphins have been playing from behind. Of course, they'd like to play from ahead if they can, as Jenkins traveled there. No doubt about that one.
Another costly turnover for CSI, and now for the UDC, they can make it a one-possession game on this possession.
For those of you trying to follow our live stats, we are working on it. We are working on it from the commentary desk right now, so hopefully we can get things taken care of as that shot rattles out and the tipped rebound goes to Jenkins.
Jenkins now will have to slow it up as CSI was behind in numbers.
This is Kaya Johnson with 20 on the shot clock. Alarcon in the corner. Risky pass up top, and Lambert holds on.
See a lot of risky passes from CSI early on.
8 to shoot. Alarcon. Now Johnson with 5 on the shot clock has Moore, and Moore can't finish.
Just a little bit too strong on the shot from Moore, and again a chance for UDC.
Kick into the corner. Firebirds work it around the outside. This is Ellis. Ellis has Jackson kick out into the right corner, and that's an air ball by Janiyah Smith, and it will be Dolphins basketball.
Another missed open three for UDC. And with 4:20 to go in this first half, CSI needs to try to extend their lead. They've let it slip away. At one point, they were up 12. Now it's only a 4-point game.
This is Alarcon once again, finding Johnson.
Johnson had a really good open look there. Surprised she did not take the shot.
She doesn't like that shot from the outside, but Moore likes that look from in close and can't connect.
And Jackson on the rebound.
There's another nice feed in transition, but the layup is no good by Smith. The putback by Williams is good.
Well, Williams was big the last time these two teams met. 11 points and 8 rebounds. As I said earlier, she gets a big offensive rebound there and the putback to make it now a 2-point game.
Pass reeled in by Johnson. That's Lambert, partially blocked. Jenkins has the offensive board. Alarcon left open. Her mid-range jumper is no good. And the rebound goes to the Firebirds, who can now tie or take the lead.
CSI starting to not really get some good shots open.
Corner three is short. That was for the lead. And the rebound is snatched in by Jenkins.
3 minutes to go in the first half.
Johnson was stripped. She's still fighting for it, and it's taken away by UDC. Here comes Jackson. Jackson bounce pass inside. Smith's layup is good, and we are tied at 21.
Well, the CSI lead at one point was 12. Now we are tied. Some costly turnovers and some bad shots for CSI has led this to happen. And with 2:40 to go in the first half, can they regain the lead?
This is Lambert, crossover, kick into the corner. Jenkins defended nicely, spins, and her floater rattles in.
That spin move from Jenkins was nasty, Joe. Big 2-point for CSI to stop the momentum and give them back a 2-point lead.
We approach 2 minutes to play in the first half. The Dolphins back in front by a pair. Another feed to the cutting Smith, and she has another easy two.
And you saw it, Joe. Smith cut to the basket, got a nice feed, and now we're tied again at 23 with 2 minutes to go in the first half. Both teams with substitutions as well coming in, so we'll see what happens.
Under 2 to play in the quarter as Jenkins travel.
And right on cue, Joe, now those substitutions will come in. For CSI, the two big ones, Esposito and Phelan checking back in. CSI has not really been able to get some good shots down the stretch. They're looking to hope that Phelan and Esposito can give them those good shots with a minute 52 to go in the first half.
These next 2 minutes are 2 big minutes for both of these teams. You know, each of them would like to build a small lead heading into halftime. We'll see who can seize the momentum. 15 on the shot clock for UDC. Feed inside. Williams looks to go at Moore. And Moore rejects that shot, rebounded by Esposito.
Well, Moore with another big-time rejection. But CSI now, you're seeing now, earlier on, a 3-2 defense, now switching to a 2-3 defense. And the Firebirds could not handle it right there. Good rejection from Moore.
Jenkins stops, kicks out to Moore. Open baseline jumper is good. And Brianna Moore has had a very nice first half for the Dolphins.
Checked in for Alarcon when she went down with the injury. Stayed in despite the fact that Alarcon came back in. And Brianna Moore has been a huge factor for CSI with their 2-point lead with a minute to go in the first half.
And that's a good point there, Nick. She has stayed in despite Alarcon being in the game as Latavia Jackson rattles in that three to give UDC the lead.
Yeah, big-time shot. It's their first lead of the game, Joe, so a big-time three from Latavia Jackson. 43 seconds to go in the first half.
Speaking of momentum before, how is that shot for momentum shift? As the Dolphins are now playing from behind for the first time tonight. That's a 2-pointer. Too strong by Jenkins. Fight for the rebound, and the dead ball rebound will go to UDC with 31 seconds remaining in the quarter.
Yeah, 1 second differential between the game clock and the shot clock, so the Firebirds realistically can milk the clock right here and take the last shot of the first half with a 1-point lead.
Officially 18 on the shot clock with less than a second differential. Pull-up jumper is short by Ellis, and the Dolphins have the rebound. 8 seconds remaining. Here comes Jenkins to the rim. She floats one up. It's short. And the rebound was knocked out of bounds by Moore with 3.5 remaining in the half.
Jenkins was trying to draw a foul on that shot. No call there. Moore could not get the offensive rebound with 3.5. Let's see what the Firebirds do.
There's time. 1 second remaining, and
well, that's definitely the end of the first half. The clock did not.
I have never seen that before. The clock stopped with 1/10 of a second remaining in the half and has just hit triple zeros. I have never seen that before. No horn. We do have a replay, and there is no chance that shot was going to be attempted in time, but we'll take a look at it here.
I think
anyway.
Jackson also got away with a little bit of traveling, a lot of cha-cha, to say Joe.
I think you're right. Let's take a look. There's no chance that shot would have counted had the clock functioned properly. Either way, that brings us to the end of the first half. Our score, UDC 26 and Staten Island 25. The Dolphins led for almost that entire half. And in the closing seconds, UDC pulls in front for the first time. So we will head to halftime with the Dolphins trailing by a single point. When we come back, the second half from the tank on the campus of the College of Staten Island.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
When your car is damaged, where you take it is your decision. But insurance companies would like you to think otherwise. While they may have a lot of pull, it may not always be in the best interest of your car. Your car will be fixed right and on time. What insurance company can argue with that?
Call Dependable Auto Body at 718-447-4898.
Hi, Meals on Wheels.
I'm Marco. I'm a college student, and I volunteer as a driver for Meals on Wheels.
I think it's awesome meeting these people. I mean, they're so interesting. They've had so many wonderful experiences in life. Your community helps to raise you up into the person that you become. Meals on Wheels is a great way to give back to that community.
Hobra, a taco joint, Staten Island, where we're proud to have shared our family-first spirit with people from throughout New York City and the world. With indoor dining available both at the bar and on the floor. Or step outside for additional seating and an outdoor bar. Serving beer that's crisp, ice cold, and worthy of a day at the beach. Cocktails that explode with flavor. And great food made with the freshest and healthiest ingredients available. Events feature food and drink specials, live music, and the best of Staten Island nightlife. Your CSI Student ID saves you 10% on your dine-in order at Hobra. Visit us at 412 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
Listen, you're my friend.
I noticed you haven't really been yourself recently.
Yeah, I feel like something's up.
How are you?
Are you okay?
Is there anything you want to talk about?
I just want to know how you're feeling.
And listen, even if you don't know what to say, I'm here to talk.
No matter what you're going through,
I just want you to know I'm here.
I've got your back.
When you want to talk, I'm here.
The Kettle Black on Staten Island, a top 5 wing joint in America by Food and Wine magazine. Serving daily lunch and dinner at the bar or on the floor. Perfect for family and group parties with top shelf drink and delicious food. From great times with good friends. Live sports and watch parties. To Staten Island's hottest nightlife. The Kettle Black features live music and DJs weekly. The Kettle Black features daily and nightly food and drink specials. The best Staten Island has to offer is at the Kettle Black. We'll see you there at the Kettle Black, located on 415 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
And we are back on the ECC Network. Joe Foreman rejoining you alongside Nick Bavona with the start of the second half between the College of Staten Island and the University of the District of Columbia. Nick, the Dolphins led for almost all of that first half. They now trail at the start of quarter number 3 by just a single point.
Yeah, and the reason being that Latavia Jackson hit a 3-point shot just towards the end of that first half. As on cue, she makes a 2-pointer right there to put the Firebirds up 3, but for CSI, I mean, you're right, Joe. They had a 12-point lead at one point in that first half. Just were not able to, get some points down the stretch. They really need to get some offensive firepower here in the second half.
As Ashley Lambert is short on that shot, and it's rebounded by the Firebirds. And it's tough to maintain a double-digit lead when you shoot just 11 of 33. However, on the other side, the Firebirds shot 9 of 33 in the first half as that rattles in for Tori Williams. And just like that, we have a 5-point game.
And foul trouble certainly was an issue for CSI in that first half. 18 total fouls in that first half. Cannot really afford to get into foul trouble with just 8 players suited up today.
Fortunately for the Dolphins, those fouls were spread across a bunch of players. As that free throw is no good, rebounded by Alarcon. But fortunately for Staten Island, no player with more than 2 personal fouls right now. This is Rose on the right wing, surveying the floor, finds Johnson. Screen from Jenkins as Johnson looks to drive, and she throws one off the window, no good. Rose with the rebound, and her putback is good.
That's a big-time rebound for Kyra Rose, and to get the putback to make it back to a 3-point game. CSI's offense has struggled in this game. They need some kind of a spark here in the second quarter, or the second half, with 8:40 to go.
Feed inside to the cutting Jackson. Second pass goes to Smith. Her layup was no good, but she'll head to the line for 2 shots.
Foul's going to be on Kaya Johnson. I believe that's now going to be her second foul.
How about the ball movement from UDC since the early going in this game? They've made some very nice passes, specifically to Smith, who was cut very well, especially along that baseline. That time she came in from the wing and was open. Couldn't convert through the contact as she misses the first free throw.
And we saw with Destiny Riles, she had a 5-point swing with 2 really good assists in that game to force CSI to call a timeout. As Smith could not make both free throws, so missed chance for the Firebirds. Alarcon gets the rebound.
Firebirds already in this game have attempted 9 free throws. The Dolphins just 2. So we have a foul against UDC here.
I believe it's going to be on Riles.
Five of 9 from the line for UDC to this point. Both teams have shot very poorly in this game. As Johnson with a nice cut, can't finish the layup. And the rebound goes to the Firebirds once again. Williams pulls it down. UDC nearly turned it over. Good pass fake and an easy 2 on the layup for Destiny Riles.
You can see why Riles is so dangerous when she has the ball in her hands. The team's leading assist total maker, and she gets a nice pass fake and gets an easy 2 to put them at 5.
Riles attempted just 2 shots in the first half, had 3 assists. Also had a couple of steals. Only had 2 points. We'll see if she looks to shoot a bit more in the second half. As Alarcon can't finish with the left. Rose with another offensive board, and she draws the foul.
You've seen it, Joe. CSI just has not been able to get those lucky rolls and bounces on these shots early on here in the second half. But a chance now at the free throw, I believe they're going to call. Are they going to call a shooting foul? They did call a shooting foul. So Kyra Rose goes to the line. Chance to put the Dolphins within elite at the very best 3 points.
2 teams already have a combined 17 offensive rebounds in this game. Only 13 combined second chance points. The third quarter has been the problem quarter for the Dolphins in several of their games this season. They trailed by just 1 at the break. They trail by 3 right here. Firebirds have taken some time getting into their offensive sets, but once they do, they've moved very well without the ball, as we have a traveling call against Riles.
Now a chance for CSI to potentially make it a 1-point game or with a 3-pointer to tie the game at 32. So a huge possession coming up for the Dolphins.
8 turnovers for the Dolphins in this game, 7 for UDC. Johnson finds Jenkins on the right wing. She wants a screen and gets it from Rose. Jenkins hesitates, and she draws the foul.
Firebirds only had 2 personal fouls in that first half. Now have 3 here in the third quarter.
Substitution coming on for UDC. A couple of players heading to the Firebirds bench.
Jackson and Smith were the 2 that checked out.
Johnson up top to Rose. Feed inside for Alarcon. Alarcon. Kick out for Jenkins. Head fake and drive. Floater is up. No good. And Rose nearly had another offensive rebound. And Jenkins takes it away. She's open. And her shot's too strong. She grabs her own miss.
Good job by Jenkins to follow her shot and get that offensive rebound. CSI still with the ball. 12 to go on the shot clock.
Alarcon left open. Deep 2 is good.
You're right, Joe. Hope was on the line. It is a deep 2, but it is now a 1-point game. Huge shot from Jenelise.
Dolphins back to within a point. And that was tipped away by Lambert. Now, I think they may want to check if that Alarcon shot was a 3, and we will get a second look at it.
While we check on that, Kyra Rose checking out for the Dolphins. Gia Esposito checking back in. The Dolphins looking to get some shooting.
Well, we have that replay queued up as that shot goes down. That was certainly a 3.
Janelle Haskins for 3.
Haskins with their first field goal of the day. Big 3 for the Firebirds to put them up 4.
Esposito fakes. Alarcon, top of the arc, has Johnson. Now Jenkins. Jenkins inside for Alarcon, and she draws the foul.
Foul's going to be on Haskins.
So while we have a quick break in the action, we'll take a quick look at that last Alarcon basket. We'll have to wind it back a bit. And we'll wait just a bit longer, but I have that replay ready for the next stoppage. The officials came over and told us they want to take a look at it. As Johnson looks to drive, and she went right at Haskins and was rejected. Rebound goes to Ellis.
Great defensive stand from Haskins right there.
That's a tough shot by Williams off balance. Couldn't get it to go.
CSI doing a good job getting back to the defensive side of the court as Alarcon takes a 2, but it's way off.
Way too strong on that shot for Alarcon. Here come the Firebirds. Riles into the corner. That was pulled in by Haskins, but she couldn't hold on. Another turnover for UDC. That's number 8 for them. Esposito has Alarcon. They are all over Ashley Lambert off the ball. They're not giving her any space, and Lambert takes full advantage and drives in for the bank shot.
Yeah, Lambert definitely took advantage, got into the paint, big time 2 to put the Dolphins within 2.
You can tell it's a point of emphasis for the Firebirds to guard Lambert closely off the ball. Good defense there by Johnson as Haskins grabbed her own miss. Open pull-up for Benjamin is short and rebounded by Alarcon.
CSI with a 2 could tie the game, but a 3 would give them the lead.
And Johnson was fouled.
Again, going to be called on Haskins, so with these free throws coming up, Joe, CSI can tie the game.
That should send us to immediate timeout. And it will. So the officials may be headed over here. We will not go to break. And if they decide they want to take a look at that 3, we have it.
I think
we'll get a preview, and they're going to come over.
They're converging right now, Joe.
Well, the replay did not kickstart. We'll try that one more time. Here it is.
As you can see there, Jenelise Alarcon's foot was on the line. So not much of a conversation right there. Is going to call will stand, Joe. It is a 2-pointer. It's still a 2-point game, but nonetheless, still a big-time shot by Alarcon right there.
Alarcon with the 2. Confirmed by the officials via replay, thanks to the CSI Sportsnet commentary desk. Once again, this is Joe Foreman alongside Nick Bavona on the call this evening for Game 2. I will be joined by Andrew Rotundo as my color commentator, and we have a very special presentation during our pregame show. You won't want to miss it. We do hope to debut our second episode of the Dolphin Pod as well ahead of Game 2. So as soon as this game is over, you can head over to the link for our men's stream, which can be found over at csidolphins.com on our homepage. Click on the game day article, check out the men's preview story, and in that story, we'll have the link for the game video for the second half of our doubleheader. And beginning right after this game ends, you can check out our latest episode of the Dolphin Pod, as I was joined by women's basketball head coach Nicole Sarcone. Be sure to check that out ahead of game number 2 coming up next here on CSI Sportsnet. Of course, Sportsnet is a proud part of the ECC network. As the action resumes with 2 free throws for Kaya Johnson. First is no good. And I've said it every season that I've been here, it is eerily silent when the Dolphins shoot free throws. My voice, the only one you can hear. You don't care to add to that, Nick?
Well, Joe, see, the problem is I don't want to, commentate while they're shooting a free throw. I'm kind of, I'm a former basketball player myself. I don't really like to talk when an opposing player or my own teammate is shooting a free throw at the line. So I didn't want to jinx Kaya Johnson on that second one.
As that, too, is good for Destiny Riles, and the lead is back to 3. So what you're saying, Nick, is that I should shut up.
Listen, you're putting words into my mouth. I'm not going to say that.
That would be a very bad decision on your part, so I like that answer. Dolphins trail by 3 once again. Esposito gets it inside for Alarcon. Alarcon for Jenkins, left open, and her jump shot is good.
I mean, you said, Joe, a nice wide-open shot from Jenkins. Firebirds almost pushing quickly, but they're now going to set up and try to get some points on this possession. Now a 1-point game with under 4 minutes to go.
Riles, big crossover, floater. Too strong. She grabs her own miss. And it was tipped away, but Riles holds on. Looking to drive is Benjamin. Her bank shot is no good. Alarcon grabs the rebound.
Great defensive stand from CSI, and now they have a chance to take the lead.
Jenkins up top. 20 on the shot clock. She gives it up to Lambert. Lambert thought about a 3, instead gives it up to Johnson. 12 on the shot clock here for Jenkins. She gets inside, and that shot no good off the window. Jenkins thought she was fouled.
A lot of groans from the home crowd.
We have a lot of aspiring officials, but I think they might have a point, as that's banked in by Williams, wide open underneath. And once again, the lead is 3 points.
And once again, Joe, Destiny Riles was the reason why she was wide open. A great feed from her to put the Firebirds back up 3.
Riles has had a very nice game despite not scoring it much. Esposito, long 3 is good. And Esposito has tied the score at 39.
Well, as our sponsors will say, Joe, she's McLovin that shot. Tie game at 39 with 2:45 to go in the third quarter.
That's a Mickey 3, courtesy of McDonald's, our scoreboard sponsor here at the College of Staten Island, courtesy of G-Money. And that shot was short from the outside, knocked out of bounds. And we'll have a couple of changes here.
Big-time turnover.
It will be Dolphins basketball with a chance to go back in front once again. They'll move this inbound over a bit. Score knotted up at 39 with 2:33 to play in the third quarter.
Been pretty much back and forth ever since the Firebirds came back from that 12-point deficit.
Esposito crosses over, looks to drive. Her layup, no good. And the rebound is taken by the Firebirds.
Almost a great bucket by Gia Esposito, just a little bit too strong.
Open shooter in the corner is Benjamin. Her three-pointer no good.
CSI's got some numbers. Let's see if Esposito sees it.
Esposito throws one off the glass and in.
You could tell, Joe, she did not know what to do with the basketball at one point. She didn't know if she wanted to pass it or just shoot it. She decided to shoot it, and it worked out for her as Dolphins regained the lead.
She thought about the kick out to Phelan first and got caught in midair. But a nice recovery by Gia for the 2. Benjamin, pull up. Good. And we're tied once again at 41.
Got some good offense now here in the third quarter. 1:35 to go. Tie game at 41 as Kaya Johnson kicks it out to Alarcon.
A back and forth third quarter as Alarcon gives the Dolphins the lead. Count it, and one.
Huge and one from Alarcon. She has come back into this game after getting injured in the first quarter, and she has made a huge impact for the Dolphins. Big time and one. A chance to go up 3 right here.
Here's a second look at that make by Jenelise Alarcon. And as you said, Nick, she went down injured earlier, comes up with a big 2 right there, and can make this a 3-point game from the free throw line. And she does just that. The Dolphins lead it by 3 once again. In the quarter, CSI trailed by as many as 5 points. Firebirds work it around the outside. This is Riles. Crossover and spin. Riles scoop layup off the window is good. Count that basket through the contact.
Wow, from one and one on the other side to another one. This was a great move by Riles. She has had herself a game, and she's got a chance to tie it at 44 with this free throw.
What a move by Riles. And I said it before, Nick, we thought she may look to shoot just a bit more in the second half, and why not with finishes like that? That's a tough shot. And Riles converts for 2, could not hit the free throw, and it remains a 1-point game.
CSI trying to increase their lead with only up 1. Let's see what they do on the offensive possession.
Riles now has 8 for the Firebirds as Jenkins thought about that 3. Lambert still guarded closely, and she was fouled.
And because of that, Joe, that's now 5 team fouls on the Firebirds, so CSI is going to go to the line.
And that's a gift from UDC right there as the Dolphins will look to take full advantage of the bonus situation. 53.6 on the clock in this third quarter. First free throw is good.
I was looking to see if you were going to talk on that one, Joe.
I thought against talking there. Second free throw is good.
See, that's why you don't talk during the free throws. Back-to-back good free throws from Lambert to put them back up 3.
Maybe you're right. Though, in our defense, my voice comes through much louder on our headsets than it actually is in the gym. Spin by Williams. No good on the finish, but the putback is good. And once again, we have a 1-point game.
Williams just too strong down in the paint. Grabs our own offensive rebound and gets the putback. It's a 1-point game again with about a 6-second differential between the game clock and the shot clock.
Lambert on the drive. Tough shot. No good. And Jenkins has another offensive rebound.
Now about under a second on the game clock and the shot clock differential.
Jenkins trapped on the baseline, and she was forced out of bounds.
And now she'll go to the free throw line with 11.8. CSI's done a good job in this third quarter of forcing a lot of fouls. As I said earlier, just 2 fouls forced in that first half. They've now forced 6 here in this third quarter.
Amaya Jenkins now has 9 rebounds in this game. 4 of those offensive rebounds. She's been huge for the Dolphins on the glass, as her free throw is no good. Look what I've done, Nick.
See?
Singing her praises during the free throw. 1 more from the line for Jenkins. And that's good.
See, Joe, you seeing a trend right here?
Perhaps. Perhaps. 7 seconds to play in the quarter. Haskins spins. Her shot rattles in. And that'll do it for the third quarter as we end the third period tied at 47. What an entertaining back and forth quarter, Nick.
You said it, Joe. Entertaining to say the least. And, you know, with another quarter up on the way, tie game at 47, we are sure to have a great finish here at the Tank.
No doubt about that, as we have 10 minutes remaining in this game. Our score knotted up at 47 in this East Coast Conference matchup between the Dolphins and the Firebirds.
As a student athlete in college, I first got involved with the NCAA at the national level. It was through the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, SAC, gave me an opportunity to advocate on behalf of all student athletes, to affect change and to make an impact. The NCAA is giving the student athlete a platform to voice their concerns and to be able to advocate for what's going to affect their well-being. The policies that are being put in place are speaking towards academics, they're speaking towards well-being, they're speaking towards fairness, creating a culture so that the student athletes have the best experiences possible.
We are back from the tank. Once again, Joe Foreman joining you alongside Nick Pavona. At the start of the fourth quarter, we are tied at 47 in this East Coast Conference matchup between CSI and UDC.
Yeah, great third quarter between these two teams. As you said, Joe, tied going into the fourth. How about the points in that third quarter, Joe? 22-21 for the Dolphins. And we have what's sure to be a great finish here.
No doubt about that. 43 points in the third. What does the fourth have in store? As the Dolphins will possess it first in the final quarter. Lambert for Rose. Kick out. Alarcon for three. No good. And the rebound goes to the Firebirds.
Just a bit too strong on that three-point shot.
Riles, what a move. She couldn't finish the scoop. And Alarcon rips the rebound away.
And Joe, they have numbers again.
Rose for Lambert. Open baseline. Jumper is good. And the Dolphins lead by 2.
Big time, great job from CSI. They saw the numbers, great assist, and Lambert got an open look to put CSI back up 2.
Alarcon hit a shot from that same spot last game. A huge shot from the corner that put the Dolphins up 4 in the closing minutes. Couldn't connect on that last attempt. That's Haskins, and she buries the triple.
How about Haskins in this second half? A really cold first half. She has picked it up in the second as the Firebirds now have a 1-point lead.
Big shot for Chanel Haskins. This is Alarcon using the Lambert screen. She looks to drive. Is double. Lambert open. Her three-pointer way off. And rebounded by Riles, who looks to push.
The Firebirds kind of have numbers. Riles goes up, and they're going to go foul.
Early foul in this quarter for the Dolphins as Riles went down hard.
Foul's going to be on Ashley Lambert.
I was curious to see if they'd give her 2 shots on that one. I thought she might be looking to pass. That's Lambert's third, team's first of the final quarter. And Destiny Riles will head to the line for 2. Now, I don't want to be accused of being partial, so I'm remaining silent during the road free throws as well, now that we have established this trend. 2-for-2 trip to the stripe for Riles, and UDC is back in front by 3.
Yeah, huge opportunity now.
This is Lambert. She crosses over left, had it knocked away, and it's stolen by the Firebirds. Haskins. Bit of a miscommunication there between Haskins and Riles. 20 on the shot clock.
CSI really needs a defensive stand right here.
Tough shot by Riles, and it goes down.
Well, it's in her name, Joe. It certainly is her destiny to get some buckets tonight here at the tank. She puts the Firebirds up 5 on a crazy shot. Great defense with Gia Esposito. Can't ask for much more.
Certainly can't ask for any more than that. As Phelan knocks down a 3.
You know, Joe, it was raining earlier outside. It's now raining here in the tank. It's 54-51. They're going to rule that a 2, I believe.
All right, so we'll have to take a point off the board for now. I did capture the replay, so they may check it. We'll see. As we have a traveling violation. And with that, we can get a quick look. We'll see if I can trim it fast enough.
Lambert checking out for CSI. So, see what happens here. Another substitution coming in now, this time for the Firebirds.
Here's a quick look. We'll see if we can spot whether or not that was a 3.
Right,
they got it right.
Yep.
They certainly got it right. Great job by the officials on that one. It's a 2-pointer. We have a 3-point game.
Nonetheless, a huge shot from Phelan. CSI could tie it with a 3 on this possession right here.
This is Rose. Picks up her dribble and finds Johnson. Alarcon dribbles left, and that's a big collision, and a blocking foul is called.
Curious to see how that one would go, but it goes in the favor of the Dolphins. As 7:17 to go in the fourth quarter. Can CSI tie the game with a 3 or make it at least a 1-point game with a 2?
I've said it many times already this year, Nick, but every time this women's basketball team has hosted a game on their home floor, there have been some late-game dramatics. And now off that turnover, here comes Williams. Williams goes right at Rose and draws the foul.
Well, Williams took advantage of a bad pass from Rose and then a nice dribble past Gia Esposito, was able to draw the foul there, and now has a chance to put the Firebirds up 5.
Tori Williams to the line for 2 shots. Her team already leading by 3. First rattles in. With that make, the Firebirds are now 8 of 13 from the line in the game. Dolphins are 8 of 11. Second free throw is also good.
CSI looking for a spark. Brianna Moore is checking back in. She was big time, Joe, in the first half. Has not been seen here in the second half. And with about 7 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, they're going to need a spark now, down 5.
I think a big reason we didn't see more in the third is the pace of the game. These two teams are going back and forth, right at one another. That's just speculation on my part, as Esposito finds Alarcon with a beautiful no-look pass. But Jenelise couldn't knock down the shot.
Just a bit far to the right for Alarcon, but you said, Joe, great look from Esposito, just a bit off the mark for Alarcon. 6:47 to go in the fourth quarter, and the Firebirds are up 5.
We talk a lot about Esposito's shooting. She's a very good passer as well. Dolphins now trail by 5, and each trip down the floor for UDC is becoming more and more important for the Dolphins defensively as Williams buries another UDC three-pointer.
Well, you can see some confusion from CSI. No one really saw Williams at the three-point line in the corner, and she was wide open, makes a big-time jumper right there.
There's a tough shot by Dana Phelan.
CSI really needed that bucket. The momentum swinging towards the Firebirds. CSI could really use some stops here on these next couple possessions.
That's a big answer from the CSI freshman. 15 on the shot clock. Benjamin finishes over Moore. Count it and 1.
We have seen some tough baskets here in this second half, Joe. And that was a tough one from Benjamin Moore. Definitely hacked her on the way to the hoop. It's now an 8-point game with the free throw on the way.
Well, here's a look at that last make for Kensley Benjamin. Through the contact, she heads to the line for 1 more. And the free throw is no good. Rebounded by Phelan. Earlier in the quarter, Riles finished through contact as well. A very tough shot for her in that instance. Those 2 baskets, both big ones for UDC. Their lead now 8 points, 12 on the shot clock, and Esposito had it poked away. Here comes Haskins, bounce pass. And that's swatted by Kaya Johnson, offensive board to the Firebirds. They have 20 to shoot.
Great job by Kaya Johnson. Stop the fast break. Now the Firebirds have to reset with 14 on the shot clock.
And that may have been last touched by UDC. It was. And it will be Dolphins basketball.
Jenkins will check back in for the Dolphins, checking in for Moore. CSI down 8 with 5:21 to go.
Inbound goes to Kaya Johnson. She will bring it up. This deficit, the largest of the game for the Dolphins. Alarcon into the corner for Jenkins. Her pull-up jumper is no good. And it was rebounded by Smith.
Chance for the Firebirds to go up by over 10 points.
This is Williams off the feed from Riles, and that's far too easy. Williams had the mismatch on Jenkins.
You said, Joe, the mismatch was definitely the key in that possession, and it's been a great second half for Tori Williams. And a must-needed timeout for the Dolphins.
6 foot was matched up against 5'6" right there, and Williams converts on the opportunity. Here's another look at the and 1 from earlier in the quarter by Riles. She's a big reason why her team leads this game by double figures. Our score, UDC 63, Staten Island 53, 4:42 remaining in the fourth quarter.
Car is damaged? Where you take it is your decision. But insurance companies would like you to think otherwise. While they may have a lot of pull, it may not always be in the best interest of your car. Your car will be fixed right and on time. What insurance company can argue with that?
Call Dependable Auto Body at 718-447-4898.
And we are back from the tank. The Dolphins now trail by 10 points. 63-53 our score in the final quarter. And Nick, the Dolphins need to come out of this timeout with increased energy and a sense of urgency, something I talked about with Nicole Sarcone during the Dolphin pod, and something I know she's looking for from her team in this spot late in this game.
Well, it's certainly been a second half for points, to say the least, but unfortunately for the Dolphins, it's been a lot of points for the Firebirds. They have been shooting the ball efficiently in the second half. Now have a 10-point lead with under 5 minutes to go. CSI, as you said, Joe, needs a sense of urgency if they're going to come back and win this game.
Dolphins being outscored in this fourth quarter 16-6. And we are just beyond the halfway point as Johnson draws the foul. And that's certainly a good start for CSI out of that timeout. They head to the line for 2.
Well, they forced a lot of fouls in that third quarter. They're going to need to do that here in the fourth quarter if they're going to come back and win this game. Need to get to the free throw line.
And that sends us to a media timeout. So Nick and I will stay right here as we take a look at some of the numbers from this final quarter. You mentioned the shooting for UDC, Nick. Look at those numbers. 5 of 7 from the field, including 2 of 2 from three-point range.
Yeah, it's been a huge factor in the second half for the Firebirds. They've just shot the ball very efficiently, and compared to how the first half ended for them, and it's really hurt the Dolphins. Dolphins haven't really shot the ball badly here in the second half. It's just the Firebirds have shot way better.
They certainly have, and we'll try and get a look at those second half numbers if we have the splits for the halves. I'm not sure we have splits for the halves. We certainly have the quarters, but the fourth quarter shooting for UDC has been phenomenal. The Dolphins not too bad, 3 of 7 from the field, but if you take a look at the third quarter, once again, it was an advantage for the Firebirds, 50% from the field. For the Dolphins, just 39%.
Yeah, it's a big factor in this game. I mean, CSI, early on could not really get out of the gate and couldn't hold on to their 12-point lead, and that's why they trailed going into the half. It was a back-and-forth third quarter, to say the least, but they've kind of let it slip away here in the fourth. 4:38 to go. CSI really needs to make these 2 free throws to make it back to an 8-point game.
And if you take a look at the scoring for the Dolphins, every player who has entered the game for CSI has scored at least 4 points. Gia Esposito leads the way with 10. Same goes for the Firebirds. Every player has scored. Right there, the bar is 3 points. Every player has scored at least 3 so far for UDC. Led by Tori Williams with 17, Destiny Riles with 12, Latavia Jackson with 11, as Johnson missed that first free throw. Second free throw is good, and the Dolphins are back to within single digits.
Well, at least she makes the second one to put it back, as you said, Joe, into a single-digit game. But CSI really needs some stops down this stretch with a 9-point game at 4:30 to go.
Up top, that was Benjamin. She traveled. No doubt about it.
And you see what they're doing, Joe. Now they're kind of double-teaming whoever has the ball. So CSI is trying to force a trap right there and get these turnovers. You saw it right there. They got a nice traveled force. 4:26 to go. Can they take advantage and get a big-time bucket?
If you're CSI, you couldn't have asked for a much better start coming out of that timeout. Immediately fouled to the line for 2 shots, and then an immediate turnover on the next Firebird possession. Alarcon's pass was nearly stolen, and Johnson pulled the hand away just in time.
Heads up play by Smith. That was a wide-open look for Johnson, but she tipped it out of bounds.
And that's right in the spot that she likes to shoot it, from the mid-range. 14 on the shot clock. Esposito has it. Now Jenkins. Over to Johnson. Alarcon will look to drive. Johnson, pull up. No good. And the rebound was tipped to Rose.
CSI's got to hurry with some of these possessions.
Jenkins in the corner. Looks to take it inside, and she floats it up and in.
Nice job by Jenkins. A big-time possession for CSI.
And I think we had a delay of game warning against the Dolphins, Kyra Rose, and that's the final warning for CSI in that regard. So the Dolphins don't want to make contact with the ball after a made basket anymore in this game. That could be huge.
Let's see if CSI, once again, double teams whoever has the ball on this possession. Looks like they are not.
Will shoot, and she cannot connect. Fight for the rebound. And it will be Dolphins basketball. I think Jackson came down on the baseline.
That's a huge call for CSI's favor. They've got to hurry up, Joe. With a 7-point game with 3 minutes left, you know the Firebirds are going to milk some clock, so CSI needs some quick possessions.
Dolphins need quality possessions. They don't need to rush it too much here, but if they don't, they'll need to score just about every time down. Alarcon has Rose, and she gets it right back. A nice-looking give and go for the Dolphins.
You said it, Joe. They needed quality possessions. That's definitely more than quality on that one. Nice give and go, and Alarcon makes it a 5-point game.
That give and go executed to perfection. We have seen that play numerous times already this year, and the Dolphins are back to within 5. They're on a 5-0 run. This is Riles. She's blocked by Jenkins.
Jenkins, what a nice block right there. But she loses the ball. A big-time miss for CSI.
Here comes Riles back the other way. Kick into the corner, and a blocking foul is called.
Home crowd is not happy with that one. Very late whistle there. Foul's going to be on Alarcon.
Here's another look at it. We'll let the viewers at home judge. I will not give any input. 5-point game. Inbound goes to the perimeter. Haskins goes right at the basket. Can't finish the floater, but she grabs her own miss and banks it in.
That is an excruciating possession for CSI. Had a chance at a rebound and led an easy bucket for Haskins to put them back up 7.
Esposito off the hesitation. Finishes the reverse.
Flashing and stashing with that bucket, Joe. It's a 5-point game again. Great move by Gia Esposito.
Nick channeling his inner Walt Clyde Frazier. The Dolphins need some Clyde-level defense right here, as that was rejected by Johnson. 14 to shoot. Esposito was ready to jump that pass, Nick.
Well, they know it's going to Riles here on this last couple possessions.
Riles wants to drive. Instead, takes the pull-up and knocks it down. They gave her a ton of space.
I was going to say, Joe, Gia Esposito needed to stay up a little bit more on the ball. Too much space, and Riles made her pay for it.
Now the Dolphins need to hurry. It's a 3-possession game with under 90 seconds to play. This is Rose. Out to Esposito. Esposito looks to drive, gets to the rim, and finishes.
And a quick timeout by CSI. Esposito has been huge down the stretch for the Dolphins, but with a minute 15, CSI and Nicole Sarcone need to draw up some good defensive stance here if they're ordered to get back into this game.
Well, here's a look at that give and go by the Dolphins from just a couple of minutes ago. At the time, this made it a 5-point game. That's a well-executed possession by CSI, and they're going to need more of that over the final 1:15. You would think here UDC will play this possession out normally. We'll look to get a shot up in the final 10 seconds. If they use the entire shot clock, that would leave the Dolphins with about 45 seconds in a 2-possession game. In that situation, I think CSI would likely call timeout and look to go 2 for 1.
They have to, Joe, in this situation. And realistically, if Destiny Riles has the ball, you have to think she's going to be one of the key players that is going to take one of those shots with 10 seconds to go on the shot clock. So CSI needs to avoid giving her any type of space like we saw in the last possession, and they need to get up and make sure that she has a very contested shot.
I think the Firebirds will certainly look to put the ball in the hands of Destiny Riles on this possession. We'll see if she looks to shoot it or looks to pass. Now, on the previous possession, I thought Riles was certainly looking to drive. I think Gia Esposito thought the same thing. She gave her a ton of space, and Riles made her pay. That was a big shot by Destiny Riles at the time. It made it a 7-point game.
And it's smart by the Dolphins. They're going to go half-court trap here, trying to force a turnover.
And they had Jackson trapped. She does a nice job to get rid of it. We approach 1 minute to play in the fourth. And the Dolphins commit a foul with 59.4 remaining now. That foul puts the Dolphins over the limit, and they will send Halia Ellis to the line.
So the question is, did Sarcone do her homework and see if Ellis is good at the free throw line or not?
Let's see if I can pull up those numbers very quickly as Ellis misses the free throw. You have to think that the Dolphins knew Ellis may not be good from the line, as was jump ball called. There it is. And possession stays with the Firebirds. That's a huge possession arrow.
That's why Latavia Jackson is the team leader in rebounds, Joe. A huge offensive rebound. That's a missed chance for CSI. Great foul forced. But now the time is running down on them.
And the Dolphins will foul once again, and they will send Ayana Ellis to the line. Now, Ellis came in Halia Ellis goes to the line. Ayana Ellis is inactive. Halia Ellis shoots 67% from the line, so perhaps the Dolphins knew that. And she hits the first. This next free throw could make it a 2-possession game. And it rattles out.
A quick timeout by Sarcone. That's the right play, Joe. You got to get in possession and figure out what to do on this drive. 53.9 to go. Do you go for the quick two? Do you look for a three-pointer? It's going to be an interesting decision by Nicole Sarcone.
I think the Dolphins certainly go for a quick shot here. That's without question. Now, whether or not the play will be diagrammed for 2 or for 3 remains to be seen. I have a feeling they'll diagram this play for 2 and then see if they can get a couple of misses from the free throw line. If they get at least 1 miss, they can then afford to go for 2 again. But with no timeouts left, I'm not sure how many times you could take the 2. I think the limit would be just once. So if you have a go-to play in this spot for 2 points, I think you run that. From that point forward, you have to go for the 3.
And with Ellis staying in the game, that might be CSI's factor. Getting a quick bucket, forcing the Firebirds' hand and passing it to Ellis and bringing her back to the free throw line. She went 1 of 4 on those past 2 possessions at the free throw line. So CSI needs to be quick with this possession.
As a team, the Firebirds shoot 68.5% from the free throw line. As the Dolphins inbound, they get it to Esposito. Corner 3, way too strong. And that was certainly the play off the inbound. As the Dolphins will foul once again with 44.5 remaining. And you have to think, Nick, that with no timeouts remaining, 1 more made free throw could do it.
Yeah, it'd be very insurmountable to say the least.
Dolphins foul number 4, Kaya Johnson, her 3rd personal.
That's Kaya Johnson's 3rd personal. Once again, the Dolphins are over the limit, and Destiny Riles will head to the line for 2 shots. Free throw is no good, and if Riles misses both, the Dolphins are very much alive in this game. 1 more to come, and that's good.
Huge free throw from Destiny Riles right there.
3-possession game, 69-62 our score.
CSI needs to hurry up with this possession. They're wasting a lot of time.
Johnson for Alarcon, and that's a turnover. We'll see if the Dolphins look to foul as Riles nearly coughed it up. But the Firebirds keep possession, and the Dolphins will foul once more with 27 seconds remaining.
Just tough last possession for CSI right there. A lot of time was wasted, and then a costly turnover. And then on the defensive side, they couldn't get the foul in a good amount of time. 26.4. This one pretty much looks wrapped up from here.
It was a huge second half offensively for the Firebirds, who will finish the half with at least 44 points. 1 more make here would make it 45. And it's a 45-point second half for UDC. Esposito finds Alarcon, and Alarcon threw it straight to Riles. Riles to the rim, will lay it up and in.
Destiny Riles for 2.
And with that, the Firebirds now have their largest lead of the game with 10 seconds to play. Esposito to the rim, and she's fouled.
Well, certainly a game that CSI let slip away, unfortunately. Had a double-digit lead at one point themselves. Now down 11 with 8 seconds to go. Dolphins will lose their 2nd in a row and a huge, big-time win for the Firebirds to go to 2-1 now in conference play.
Esposito's free throw is too strong. And you said it, Nick. This win for UDC pushes them above the 500 mark in conference play. They're 2-1. Esposito makes it a 10-point game once again. But that will wrap this one up as the Dolphins will fall by 10. Our final score, UDC 73, Staten Island 63. The Dolphins fall to 3-6. They fall to 1-2 against the ECC. UDC breaks above the 500 mark. Overall, they are now 5-4. And they are also above 500 against the conference now as they improve to 2-1 against the ECC.
Yeah, tough loss for CSI. really had a chance to get a big-time win, but a really tough third quarter in which we saw the Firebirds just basically on fire, Joe. They were not missing at all, and they kept it going in the fourth quarter. And unfortunately for the Dolphins, it leads to a tough loss here at the Tank.
Well, if you take a look at the numbers from this game in the opening quarter, not many points scored. Staten Island won that quarter 13-7. UDC then won the second quarter 19-12, and it seems the Firebirds really started to get going at the beginning of that second quarter. In the final three quarters, they scored 19, 21, and 26. The Dolphins kept pace in the third. They could not keep pace in the second, and in the fourth, great shooting from the Firebirds in the fourth as well, and that helped them wrap up the win.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and really got to look back into it. A great effort from the CSI, but they could not really stop Tori Williams and Destiny Riles. They were two big factors for the Firebirds in the second half, as well as Chanel Haskins. She had some big-time threes in that second half. It really led to CSI's downfall. But for CSI, listen, with this amount of players that they had on the court, it's not a bad loss per se. It's something to look back onto, try to figure out what they could do in their next game upcoming this Saturday.
Leading the way was Destiny Riles in scoring for the Firebirds, 17. She was joined by Tori Williams with 17, also in double figures, Chanel Haskins and Latavia Jackson. As for the Dolphins, they were led in scoring by Gia Esposito with 15. No other Dolphin in double figures, though Amaya Jenkins did have 10 rebounds in the game. She got the start for CSI. Lambert and Johnson also had 9 for the College of Staten Island. As that wraps up our Game 1 coverage, stay tuned right here on CSI Sportsnet as we are going to present Episode 2 of Season 3 of the Dolphin Pod ahead of our men's game. Tune over to the men's stream as we premiere Episode 3, or I should say Episode 2 of the Dolphin Pod. Coming up next, we'll be back with more East Coast Conference basketball right here on CSI Sportsnet.